What's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding, and we are, let me check, exactly 53 days out from the Arnold Classic, so this will be amazing. The prep is going pretty good and I'm very motivated. But let's jump right into this Q&A. So the first question, this is either from Instagram or YouTube. So the first question is Alexandro Ballis. What is your opinion on Mike Menzer, Dorian Yates' high intensity style of training? Well, there's a lot of logic behind it, because as Dorian himself says, if you repeat an exercise, do a lot of sets and reps, you will not be able to go as heavy as you need to go to dig deep down into those muscle fibers that you normally cannot dig down to, because you're simply having too much volume. So you can't really get so heavy with the weights because you already wasted too much energy, and then your body isn't getting stimulated in an overloading way. And the only way to get that done is do a warm-up set, and then a medium set, and then the last set will be the heaviest set until failure, basically. That's how Dorian Yates and Mike Menzer like to do it. But in my opinion, if you want a balance between, getting a good pump and getting progressive overload, so time under tension is very important, and progressive overload, which means increasing the weight every single time that you work out, then you've got, the best of both worlds, in my opinion, because going that heavy, especially when cutting or preparing for a contest, does, risk injury, ripping apart muscles, and that's actually what happened to Dorian Yates. He admitted it himself, so especially when cutting, I wouldn't do that style. I would implement a little more volume, getting a good pump, and then the last set with a spotter, once you're properly warmed up, you can go heavier, but don't go to failure with only 2 or 3 maximum reps, but stick around to 8 or 10 reps. But go to failure in the last set and then try to aim for heavier the next time. Next question by Nexa6 Alex. What do you think about training 2 times a day with eating right and resting? This is also something that a lot of popular bodybuilders, professional bodybuilders used to do back in the day. Train twice a day, and it is possible. I've done it myself a couple of times when time allowed it, but in real life, none of us have the time really to consistently do this twice a day. But for example, if you train back and biceps on one day, you can first in the morning do your back, wait at least 7 or 8 hours, and then train your biceps, for example. Always train the biggest muscle group in the morning, then recover with the meals in between, and then do a smaller muscle group in the evening. And that would actually be more beneficial than training everything at once. But it's not really practical. A lot of people cannot afford to do that. But if you do it, make sure to have a very carb-rich meal right after the first workout, so you will be recovered in the hours afterwards. Next question by 30Fitness17. I just wanted to ask you if you have any plans in the future to expand your label to where you have sponsored athletes. So my brand, Vintage Genetics, I'm wearing the team Vintage Genetics hoodie, and the new, very light, as you can see, very nice lightweight fabric, dropped armhole tank top. That's amazing, with the VG logo. I've been wearing it quite a lot. I really like it. I always like the tank tops that really fall onto your body instead of being really tight. But anyway, that's what the brand is about. Old school clothing that you can train nicely with. But I am planning to expand the label to where I sponsor different athletes. I'm in the process of doing that right now, but I still want to grow a little bit more. We will be at Body Power, by the way, this May, and we'll have our own booth there as well, so that's going to be amazing. And perhaps after that I will sponsor some athletes. There's actually someone in France right now who's being coached by the same coach as me. His name is James. He's being sponsored by Vintage Genetics because he can actually represent the brand in France. There's a lot of people who are not native English speakers or English speakers at all, so he speaks French, so that's a nice combination. But anyway, in the future we will definitely expand to more athletes. Next question by Stefan Holten. I never saw you with a pre, intra or post-workout shake. Do you use them, or do you have only pre and post-workout complete meals? Well, first of all, I do have a pre-workout meal and a post-workout meal, the most important things around the workout. But then there are things that can help you in the workout itself. I do not advise intra-workout shakes or drinks or whatever, because when you're working out, the blood from your intestines, from your stomach is pulled away to the muscles that you're training, and then everything that goes into your stomach won't be absorbed quickly, won't be digested quickly, it will be too slow to be absorbed for the workout itself. So what I use only before the workout and after the workout is 1 scoop of BCAAs before the workout, especially when I'm cutting, and 2 scoops after the workout. And let me actually show you the precise BCAAs that I use. And these are them. BCAAs, very high quality, extra glutamine to protect the muscle protein, because most of the muscles are made off of glutamine. So that's why I take it, just 1 scoop pre-workout and 2 scoops post-workout, available on vintagegenetics.com. Next question by Shoal Aesthetics. Can you take us through your current full day of eating? To be short about it, it's pretty simple right now. In the morning, it's usually oatmeal with super protein complex whey. That's 6 different whey proteins in 6 different sources. Then either some raisins or dried prunes with some almonds and cinnamon. That's the first meal pretty much every single day. The amount depends on how many carbs I have that day. I have low days, medium days, and high days. And then there are pretty much 3 meals of Uncle Ben's rice, brown rice, with 200 grams of vegetables, low FODMAP vegetables like cucumber, zucchini, pepper, carrot, stuff like that. And 250 grams of white fish or some tuna. And then the last meal of the day is actually an omelet. Just a simple omelet, and the meal before that will be yams or sweet potatoes with Nordic salmon. That's what I usually have post-workout. So that's a full day of eating for me. And the amount of carbs depend on what kind of day it is, but usually on leg day, it's a high day, so then I'll enjoy every single meal. Next question by Madi A93. How do you keep your skin, especially shoulders and traps, so clean and acne-free? This is a question I get a lot. Honestly, it has a lot to do with genetics, because I've never really had problems with acne. Well, just once when I was in Bonaire and I used a lot of sunscreen on my back every single day. Then it was irritated for like a few months actually. So be aware of what you put on your skin. Because if your skin, especially the back, which doesn't get a lot of blood flow into the skin, it's a thicker skin, so it doesn't repair as quickly, doesn't clean as quickly. So then you might have some trouble if you put the wrong stuff on there. But usually the face, no problem, shoulders, no problem, chest or back nowadays, no problem either. And it's all about what you put in your body, because if you put toxins into your body, somehow they have to go out, and usually it's through the skin. It also has to do with how well you absorb your nutrients. If you eat a lot of high FODMAP foods, and FODMAP stands for how well you are able to absorb the carbohydrates from different fruits and vegetables. If you cannot absorb them properly, you will not be able to absorb a lot of good nutrients that help you clear out toxins. If you don't drink enough water, you might not clear them out properly. Not enough fiber, you might not clear them out. A lot of stuff. So just have a healthy diet first of all, and high quality supplements, because a lot of supplements are contaminated with low amounts of toxins, like a lot of omega-3 fish pills. Most of them aren't 100% pure, so go with a little higher price, higher quality, because the best thing you can invest in is your own body. Anyway, next question. By Daniel Hakvoort. Do you think if you would step on an Olympia stage in 1970 to 1975 that you would have a chance against men like Ferrigno, Arnold, Colombo, Corny, Dubre, etc.? By the way, it's a sad thing, Ed Corny has passed away and I'll do my best to pay homage to him at the Arnold Classic, of course, because he was an amazing poser. But to answer your question, I would love to have stood in between those guys, because those are exactly the physiques that I strive for myself, especially Arnold, Ferrigno, Nebre as well. He was a great bodybuilder. They were all great bodybuilders from the old school golden era. So standing in between those guys, I'm allowed to be a little less conditioned and allow me to grow more in the off season and to lose less fullness during the preparation for the contest. So all in all, that's why those guys back in the day looked so full and healthy, because they wouldn't need to diet down so low. Their face would look healthy, and they were able to keep more fullness because they weren't suffering as much as today's bodybuilders are. And especially the health suffers quite a lot when you go so low in body fat. That's the only thing I dislike about bodybuilding nowadays, even Classic Physique. You really have to be enormously conditioned to be competitive right now, but there's no other choice, so I will be more conditioned than ever at the Arnold Classic. And the next question by I am Basir 10. What's your advice for someone that is competing for the first time? I've said this a couple of times. When you compete for the first time, no matter what class it is, and you know what contest you will be doing, look at the winner of last year of that class and that contest. If you feel that you cannot beat that guy, don't do the competition. Only if you feel fully confident that you're able to beat the number one of last year, and you're confident in your own conditioning, in your own proportions, in your own fullness on stage, in your own presentation, only then should you compete, because you don't want to compete the first time and lose, because trust me, I don't know if I would have gotten this far if I lost my first competition. I won all the first competitions that I did, and that motivated me so much more. And at our team Vintage Genetics coaching athletes that we have here, the people that win, they are so motivated. They actually keep going with the diet, they keep going with the cardio, even though there's no competition in sight, but their motivation is so high then that they simply keep up the discipline, and that is the difference. Next question by Sylv Koers. What exercises would you recommend for building the rear delts? The rear delts are on the back of the shoulder. Let me actually show you real quick. As you can see, you want the rear delts to be in balance with the rest of the shoulder. So if you do a side chest like this, you want the roundness in the delts to show. So the back, the front, and the side need to all be proportionate. If they're not proportionate, you're not working the rear delts hard enough, well enough, efficiently enough. So what you want to do is a lot of reverse flies with a dumbbell, or reverse pec deck on a pec deck machine, but make sure to use a low weight and high volume. The higher the weight you use, the more your traps will actually work to get that weight to the back. The lighter the weight, the more you can concentrate on isolating that little muscle right there, fill that muscle up and make it grow. That's the best way. And whenever you train back, after doing 4 exercises of back, do 1 exercise for the rear delts, and that will finish them off. And whenever you train shoulders, start with the rear delts and end with the front delts to get them in balance. Next question by Vito Brady. What did your parents think when you started doing bodybuilding competitions? Actually, I'm one of the lucky ones, because they supported me from the very beginning, and I'm very appreciative of that, because I'm hearing so many people now, people that I coach, people that I talk to within the bodybuilding community, that their parents and their family either don't understand it, or don't support them, or don't allow them to do certain things, like even getting supplements like a whey supplement or creatine or multivitamins. It's all dangerous according to the parents, because they are ignorant of what the bodybuilding community is all about, what you have to do for it, the discipline you have to show for it. Some are not even allowed to cook as much in the kitchen, because it's a nuisance to the parents. So I'm very lucky, because my father has been bodybuilding his whole life basically. Ever since I was born, he was already lifting iron in the gym. He wasn't really on stage bodybuilding, but always, watching his food intake, the protein intake, working out hard in the gym, being away a few hours every single evening to work out. So it's being understood within the family, and that is just amazing. And it's only been more supportive as the more shows I did and the more success I achieved. So I'm very blessed to have parents that support me that much. And the last question of the day, TVHA3. He asked, you said you wanted to improve your legs for the next contest. Is your current leg size satisfying to you, or does it still need improving? Well, what is satisfying to me is the improvements that I did make. The hamstrings have improved, and I actually did a DEXA scan and I compared it. And a DEXA scan is literally a scan that works with radiation to actually accurately measure your muscle mass and your fat mass when you lie under the scan. Comparing to a skin fold measurement, it's much more accurate. So what it showed me is a 2 kilo increase in lean muscle mass in the legs specifically, compared to when I was in the Olympia prep. So I'm already 2 kilograms or about 5 pounds in the legs ahead compared to last time. And that is very satisfying to see, because that means that all the work I've been doing, working the legs really hard, has been paying off. Since I'm quite tall, it'll take a while for the legs to really be full enough, but the quad sweep has improved, so the outside of the quads have improved, and the hamstring detail and thickness, especially from the side, has improved. Of course, there's still a lot of work to be done to compare with the top guys, but I do think the balance has been returning quite a lot more compared to the previous contests. Alright guys, that was the Q&A of this week. I'll be doing more Q&As from now on with the start of the new year. I will try to do a Q&A every single week, so if you have any further questions about anything, ask them down below in the comment section or send me a DM to @Wesley Vissers at Instagram, and I'll write down the question if I want to include it in the Q&A, and then we will make another Q&A for you guys to enjoy. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.